Back, guys. We have so much to run through this week. I know I haven't made another long video, but we're back. We are going to run through X. There is so much news that I saved the past week, and I've just been doing my trading, doing my research, moving things around, and really taking a look at what's going on in the broader market and the macro levels. And we are in for some serious price action coming soon. Bitcoin has rocketed all the way from 98.4 up to 108 2 days ago, I think it was. Right now, we're sitting at about 106.5. But guys, World War III last weekend, come on, we all knew that was ending. $98,000 up to 108 in just less than a week. Things are about to get very, very crazy, and the volume on altcoins are going absolutely parabolic. Some altcoins have already started their runs. Things are getting really crazy. The dollar is collapsing. It's at its lowest level in 3 years as of the other day. And we are looking pretty nice right now. We're sitting at 106.5, stabilizing from the run up from 98. And I think we're pressing all-time highs within a week or two. So let's dive right into X and the latest news and information going on. Remember, everything I say to you isn't financial advice. Take it with a grain of salt. And I'm just running through factual information going on in the news. There's a lot going on with Trump. There's a lot going on with the Bitcoin treasuries. And there's a lot going on with some different altcoins that I track. So let's get right into it and start with the US dollar being worth 10.1% less than it was at the beginning of the year. Look at the collapse of this. I mean, this chart is showing the US dollar compared to every other currency all over the world. And the US dollar is really going down quick. And people still think it's safer to hold US dollar than Bitcoin, which is mind-blowing to me. People keeping their US dollar in their bank account, waiting to time the market, waiting to get in at a low for Bitcoin. Just yesterday, I don't want to say names or call anyone out, but I was at an appointment and I was telling the person that I was with that, like, you're making really good money right now. You should think about allocating and putting some away into Bitcoin long term. And, they didn't want to feel like they were doing too much with the market. They didn't want to have to physically do it themselves. So they hooked their bank account up with a high yield savings account, she said. And I didn't ask too many questions about it because I know exactly what high yield savings accounts are. I know exactly how much they yield percentage wise annually. And I know it's nowhere close to the amount of Bitcoin. And she said, Bitcoin's risky. What if it goes down? But long term, I told her nothing has outperformed Bitcoin the past 15 years and nothing ever will. And I'll reiterate that over and over again. The US dollar is on the decline and your purchasing power is worth 10% less than it was in January. Just January alone. And Bitcoin's annual return rate right now is at a 60%. I don't like to tell people how to move their money around. I really don't. But consider Bitcoin if you don't have any, please. Michael Vanderpot, one of my favorite trackers in the crypto space, slight consolidation before the next breakout is what Bitcoin is telling us. It couldn't break through the 108.1 go and is therefore consolidating. When we break through 108.5, that's where we're going to see all-time highs, and I couldn't agree more. Right here, we see it hit the 108 from the 98 level. It hit it once before. So that area is considered a resistance right here where I'm circling. We'll probably test back to the 103 to 106 range, maybe consolidate there for a little bit before we push higher into that 130 to 150 range is what I'm predicting. A couple of other investors I track are predicting it as well. And I think that's the next level that we'll probably see. Bo Hines saying it's the best interest of the U.S. to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. Guys, you have people in the government tracking Bitcoin. You have people in the government saying that they're going to buy Bitcoin. It's only a matter of time before everyone does. And once the U.S. announces that they've actually been doing this for the past few months, because most likely they probably have been, the world is going to go into a serious Bitcoin accumulation arms race, and it's going to skyrocket the price. Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, the CEO, says they're buying Bitcoin every week. There's every big company is buying Bitcoin every week. They're just doing it behind closed doors. I mean, they're doing it over the OTC, so they're not really affecting the price immediately, but they're getting Bitcoin at a very cheap price. And once retail starts getting in, this will be reflected. David Sachs, the crypto czar, saying July will be a big month. They've already signed the Genius Act and clarity is going to the Senate, and they said they're sending this by September to get finalized. So everything should be in place with the crypto regulatory laws by September, which just, provides more regulatory framework for the crypto space. Lark Davis, another famous investor. Sorry, guys, I'm flying through this right now, but there is so much to talk about, and I want to keep this video kind of on the short end. The dollar index DXY, we already spoke about it. It's down 11% year to date. Global M2 is hitting all-time highs. You know what happens next. Track the global M2. Bitcoin is closely following it. Strategy, Semler Scientific, and Metaplanet have bought 12,400 Bitcoins this week. That's 4 times the amount that were actually even mined and put into circulation. This is going to skyrocket the price. When are people going to understand that a short squeeze is imminent? There is so many buyers right now. There's so much buying of Bitcoin, and people just don't understand that the amount being bought is outweighing the amount actually in circulation. Once this happens and retail FOMO's in, it is going to skyrocket the price. I literally think we could see a 20 to 30K candle overnight. It's the amount being bought by BlackRock and MicroStrategy alone is unbelievable. And now you have Metaplanet in Japan raising $5.5 billion to buy more. They already just bought $132.7 million worth this week, and they're holding 12,345 Bitcoins right now as of this week. They want to acquire 15 times that amount in a year and a half, and they are on track to do it within a year's time. Metaplanet is going to pass Mara. Mara holds, I think, 40,000 Bitcoins right now, and the next biggest is MicroStrategy on their balance sheet. Metaplanet is going to be a secondary to MicroStrategy. If you do not know about this company in Japan, do your own research. I'm heavily invested. Metaplanet is going serious places this year, guys. I'm very excited. Michael Saylor says Bitcoin will become the largest asset in the world in 48 months and thinks it's 10xing to overtake gold within 2 years. Gold's market cap sitting at a 16 trillion. Bitcoin's at a 2. I mean, it passed Google the other day. It's number 5 or number 6 on the top assets in the world. It's only a matter of time before it overtakes gold, especially if the U.S. puts that strategic reserve bill into place where we start selling our gold reserve assets and putting them into Bitcoin, which is stated in the bill. Anthony Pompliano launched his own treasury company this week as well called ProCap. They bought another 1,200 Bitcoin, and they're now already holding 5,000 Bitcoins, and they're racing for a $1 billion treasury ahead of its public listing. This listing is only a SPAC right now. I think the ticker is CCMA or something like that. I'll do a little research on that and get back to you guys. But they are already holding 4,932 Bitcoin within a week of going into their treasury, into their company. And Anthony Pompliano, as you all know, one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls out there, and he's getting heavily invested in his treasury company. One of the biggest partnerships this week that I could possibly think, actually maybe one of the biggest partnerships to ever hit the crypto space, is the Chainlink MasterCard partnership. Now, people are going to be able to buy assets directly on their MasterCard powered by Chainlink. Chainlink's network is powered on MasterCard now to have everybody that uses MasterCard, which is about 3 billion users, I think they said, to buy assets and buy crypto on chain. Chainlink is another company, if you don't know, they're the oracle of the crypto space. They're ranked number 13th in market cap. They surpassed Sui yesterday, and they're going big places. I recently allocated more into Chainlink. I'll talk more about it in another video as well because we have a lot to get through, but Chainlink is something you don't want to overlook in the crypto space. This is a funny little stat I found, that alt season index found its macro bottom every June for the past 3, 4, 5, 6 years. For the past 6 years, altcoins hit a low in June. And what do we know? This past June, the month we're in right now, altcoins took a heavy, heavy dip. We could see them spike up in July and August. What are the chances this will be different? I don't know. History doesn't always repeat itself, but it likes to rhyme. And I like to think that June was a bottom for altcoins. So I'm heavily, heavily invested. Another partnership in the works, I think. I don't know. It's rumored. Ondo with Coinbase. This would be absolutely huge. Coinbase has filed with the SEC to offer on-chain stock trading. You'll be able to trade your stocks on Coinbase over the weekend. Who's powering that? Obviously, it's Ondo Finance, the biggest real-world asset in the space right now. Super bullish on Ondo. It's my second biggest holding, and it will continue to be my second biggest holding probably throughout the whole bull run. Another Fed, Michelle Bowman, calls for interest rates cut in July. There's now 2 Federal Reserve employees that are now calling for this. Jerome Powell will probably end up cutting by September. There's multiple people in government already asking for it. There's 2 federal chairs. It's a matter of if, not when. It's a matter of when, not if. I'm sorry. This was a very interesting thing that also happened this week. One of the Ripple co-founders tweeted for the first time in 14 years, breaking silence, and all he tweeted was the emoji without a mouth. I don't know what's going to happen with XRP, but there is something going on behind closed doors. In my personal opinion, I think RLUSD is going to be pegged to the US dollar after the Genius Stablecoin Act was created this week. And I think RLUSD is going to be the crypto stablecoin used back to the US dollar. Sorry, I cannot get my words straight. I am super excited to talk about all this news. RLUSD will be pegged to the US dollar, in my personal opinion, to be the stablecoin reserve of the US. Now, that would bring billions, if not $1 trillion, to the XRP ledger. So plan accordingly. Something is going on with XRP. It's gonna do something. I don't know what, but we already talked about Pompliano. Strategy adding another 245 Bitcoin for 26 mil. Now that's a small purchase, but they're sitting at about almost 600,000 Bitcoins now. That's absolutely absurd. There's no one that is going to be able to catch up to him. His strategy is pulling from Strike, and Stride, and nobody can touch what he's actually doing. Dollars are losing purchasing power. Bitcoin is gaining purchasing power. Choose wisely. I've said it once. I've said it twice. I've probably said it 3 times in this video alone. The US dollar is declining. When will people realize? Just how big is Bitcoin? Take a look. $2 trillion market cap. We're almost past Amazon. We've already passed Google this week. Apple, a bit bigger. We've already passed Berkshire. Microsoft, they don't want Bitcoin. We're going to pass them, obviously. NVIDIA, we're going to pass them too. We've already passed Meta. We've already passed Tesla and Broadcom as well. So, I mean, look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin is going to probably fill up that whole circle at some point. It's going to be bigger than gold. Gold's not even listed on here, but gold is a huge chunk. Gold is a $16 trillion market cap. Bitcoin is going to catch up. Lastly, I know I flew through this video super fast, but I wanted to keep it short for you guys. I know it's Friday. We've got things to do. Time in the market beats timing the market. I like to say that this is very, very true. And I also like to say it's good to have some cash on hand as well. But you want to be in the market right now. You don't want to wait for Bitcoin to drop to get in, because by the time you wait for it to drop, it's going to be too late. I have one friend, a very good friend of mine. I talk to him weekly. He's living in Thailand. And I told him I started dollar cost averaging back into Bitcoin again at 26,500, but he thought we were going back down to 20. Sure enough, we got to 50 very, very quickly from October of 2023 up to 50. And October 2023 or October 2024? What is it? I can't keep track. I believe it was actually October 2023. Yes. And then we got up to 50 pretty quick. And he thought we were dropping down to 35, 40. And sure enough, we got up to 75, 80, 90, 100, and he started getting it at 90. And, you don't want to try and time the market to get the lows. You just want to dollar cost into Bitcoin. So if you're waiting for a low, get some today at 106. And then if it drops, get some at 100. Don't put your whole, let's say, 10K on the sideline into Bitcoin just today. Put half of it in and then wait to see if there's a drop. And, if there's not, dollar cost that extra 5K in slowly, because you don't want to try and time the market and be left behind. And as we all know, Bitcoin shoots very, very quick and you might miss it. And, right now, crypto and altcoins are at a time where notoriously they shoot very, very fast. And even for me, it's going to be very hard for me to time my profit taking because of how quick things are moving, euphoric. And you got to track the crypto market fear and greed index to really get a gauge on when to take and sell profits and when to buy. But even then, for the top investors in the world, it's very hard to time the market. So guys, You're waiting for Bitcoin to drop. Even the top investors in the world can't do this. You're not going to. You're a retailer buying Bitcoin and you think you're getting it at a better price. Why wait when you can get in now and dollar cost in? Thank you guys for watching. I know I sped through that. It was super quick. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll be making 1 or 2 long videos a week. And safe trading, everybody, because the market is about to get very, very volatile. Trade safely. That's all I request.